Yeah, we're in the high days of worship and praise with High Priestess and Prophetess. This is the High Priestess and Prophetess Awakening. You're with High Priestess Maven, or HP Maven, and it is day two. Day two. So we welcome you in this place. Welcome into this place. Welcome into this place. We are now doing a awakening of the High Priestess and Prophetess, which a lot of you already know you're awake. We're gonna be careful with the words because people are, coming in and trying to do a little work on that. But now that we are in the rising, as the High Priestess, Prophetess, that we are to be and are. Meaning when we say are to be, we're going to be working this into our daily lives continually because we are now on the best quest we've ever been on in our lifetime. Okay. So at this point, we're going to have us a nice sacred ceremony. We have our water here. We have our fire. It is day two of what we know as Black History Month. I say month, so that's why I kind of stumbled a bit, but month because it's moon days, essentially because of the timing of it all. So the high days is about waking up before the sun even rises in your area and having your commune with the divine forces of nature. Okay, so the divine forces of nature. So I cleared our way yesterday, and now we're into day two, and day two of what we know as Black History Month. But what we're adding into this now is not just about history, it's about the present and the future. That is the magic of the number three. So we have High Priestess. Well, I don't want to use the too many words that are going to keep us in a from being in our best positions because it's about positioning right now and using the divine forces of nature to allow us to now walk into the light. Okay, so when we wake up early before the sun rises, it is our time to shine and get our praise and worship going. Okay, when I say warship, I'm saying warship. Okay, so it's warship, divine days, high days, and this is a high time. And what we're tapping into is our higher self, okay, a higher nature. So let me put this here so we can get to the place of, hold on a second. I'm gonna get us situated. I wanted to hold on to this for just a sec till we got ourselves all in this space and in this place. So let's get us situated here. I hope everyone is doing well. This is our time. It's definitely a time, like I said, to shine. We are not going to be in a position of taking anything that doesn't bring us life into our vessels. What we have is a temple. Our bodies are a temple, and these are words that were said to us and posited into our spirits from our divine mothers. And we're going to be showing how the divine mother has returned and how the presence of the divine mother in the land has returned. There we go. I was having a little trouble with that. But and we was able to, I got some breakthrough yesterday that I really want to share at another time. But right now we're going to go ahead and just kind of get into the the ritual. Sorry, I probably should have had that together before I got on here. I like to hold the phone, but I want to be able to I wanted to have my device in my hand when I started, but I should have had this on here. There we go. I think it's going. There we go. I just want to have our, let me move that back just a bit. I just want to have that going for us. There we are. So this is a divine time. I'm not going to be able to see the comments just yet, but I want to say that this is a divine time for our high priestess, and also the prophetess that is going to be in the land doing the work that we do. Okay. So we are in our quiet time, early in the rising, as we like to say. And it's a time where we get to reflect. We also get to put in our time with our soul guides and, of course, the divine mother and father, what we call the mama and the papa of the cosmos. And this is a time to allow our Mami Wata Sibyls to take their places, the divine black doves of North America, the ones who are the North American hoodoos and voodoos, they call it, but those folks who just work with spirit. So we're gonna have to show people who we are, okay? Who we are. There was a time when our mothers would raise their bodies up and come into this time of darkness so that we can have our way and our path cleared. And the path clearing is all about the ritual that you choose. And when I say ritual, I'm talking about the right tools, and that's RITE. We're going to get these words right. Okay, we're going to get them correct. The right tools to use in your home. Now we are back in our homes. We had I like to call a global emergency several years back, and of course we sent out heart and love space for those who had any difficulty at that time. But there was a divine thing happening where a lot of our people, when I say our people, the North American hoodoos and voodoos of the land, had to go back into their homes, and that's how we started. That's how we started. We started in our homes. I know that they made a large thing about going into the churches, and we do understand that, and into the mosques and the temples that were for the populace. But at this time, we're going to go back to our own body temples and be able to be that vessel that walks the earth right now. So as I am preparing this ritual, it's day 2 of what we know as Black History Month, and we are in a time like no other. It is the lunar year, a divine awakening, and y'all, they using the serpent. The serpent, okay? So how many of us know that the Mami Watas had a serpent as a totem? Now, what I want to explain about that is that the totems were there when those who came to take over, when they came to take over, we had our totems. So it seemed that they kept the totems and let that represent the Mami Watas, who are our mothers in the flesh. So they got rid of the flesh and they went ahead and kept the totems. And the totems were set there by them for representation of the Mami Watas, to remember that they had the positioning over the Mami Watas, and they were no longer able to come into the light of day, if you want to say it that way, in order to spread their love. The Mami Wata is about love. It's about using the divine forces and helpers of nature in order to bring about the changes and the harmony and the melody of a sweet, sweet song to the life of your family, of your community. And that's what it's always been about. But it took a different narrative. But now we're going to show the world who we really are. All we must do at this time is represent. And I know that you are out there. There are so many of us out there, out here doing what we do, preparing the road for our families, preparing the road for the sisters that walk with us, the ones who are part of the sisterhood, who are the priestesses and prophetesses of this world. This is an ancient spirit that resides within each body that we must reconnect with and not believe that it's anything other than what it is: divine love and harmony of the divine woman, womb man, the mother of all living things, the mother who birthed the children of her womb from the water of life is what it's called, and the representation thereof is what we're going to be getting into. So we burn this candle today and continually until we get the breakthrough and see a lot of the breakthrough where the mommies are coming back together. So I am in the position of being one of the ones who ushers in this divine celebration. It's a divine reunion, a divine revival. And I had to clear the way yesterday. I had a little time with that, which was a great time. It was in order to bring us together without any interruptions from those who don't quite get it. This is a divine space, it's a sacred space, and this is why I am one of the ones, and not just the only one. There's millions of us who are able to get up and be able to spread this love and unity all across the world. And where we're starting, of course, is in North America. My soul guides and the godmothers thereof, I call them the godmother elder fae. That's the higher power that guides us all. And you don't have to name yours that because this is my own personal walk with my soul guides. But we must get into the position of allowing ourselves to connect once again with our own divine mothers, our divine mothers in our bloodlines, in our Sibyl line. Each Sibyl that is here in the land, as you come to the place of this celebration with us, this time of being happy about our positions. There are no more obstacles, there are no more deterrents, and there's nothing else that's going to keep us from doing the work that is in our blood and the bloodline. We're able now to go back to our positions of worship and praise. So this is the high days of worship and praise. We're going to show the world who we really are, not what they said we were, but who we are. All we must do is stay connected with our soul guides. But what about the soul guides? Let's talk about the soul guides for just a moment. The soul guides are those who came in with you, those in the spirit realm who guided your soul safely to the mommy who carried your body, your little bitty body, within her womb space, within the water. That is the water that it talks about within the sacred text, and it refers to the deluge. The deluge after the 40 weeks, actually. 40 weeks. It takes 40 weeks for a human being to be born. That's the normal time frame. 40 weeks. And they say 9 months as well. So 9 is a divine number because it's the ending of a cycle of numbers. And we go back into a 10 and then we start it over again. This is all about cycles. It's all about cycles and all about the harmony that we have with nature, which gets me back into the divine forces and the divine helpers of nature. That is what we always believed in. Many things were there to take us off of that particular square, but now we return ourselves and get into our happy time. This is a time to celebrate, and I don't care what the Chicken Little stories are talking about out there. The divine mothers are able to celebrate right now because we've done our full 500 years on North American soil for the sacrifice of this land and the world. They used our body temples for the money. We have to kick the money exchanges out of the temple now and then get back to celebrating us. And that's why so many of us have taken a step back from our work that we were sort of kind of wanting to do. None of our mothers started off like that. But at this point, I want to let you know that there is a next direction for us. We had our time, this isn't our bloodline. Now we're going to cleanse this bloodline. We're going to prepare the roads so that we can get what we need done in this world and what the world needs done. All it is just a matter of changing your mind. It's just a moment in a twinkling of an eye, you will be in your next space. So we're going to go into that place right now. We're going to go into this divine place of worship and praise, the high days of worship and praise. And when I say worship, it's spelled WARSHIP because we're in the spirit realm. This is all esoteric, y'all. It's in the spirit realm. I know people talk about exoteric a lot, and that's where we've been for a long time. And you know what? I'm going to be real honest with you. There's nothing wrong with exoteric, but that is a representation of the divine masculine. The divine masculine is the exoteric. They're the ones who are more so the thinkers that are on surface and turf, and they're the ones that go out and get it done many times. We do as well, but we are more of an introvert of a spirit as we work this magic. Okay. And when I say magic, I'm referring to Magick. Magick, which means it's more of a ceremonial magic. We called it in the ancient days magie. So Magi. And you'll see that in the ancient text where it talks about, they call it the magi, but it's really magie. So it's all in there. All you have to do is study it from the mindset of a Sibyl, from an actual Sibyl with wisdom, a black dove, that spirit of the Holy Ghost that represents the calmness and the worship nature, the divine gentle soul. That's a representation of your soul. We're going to show the world who we really are as the Mami Wata, okay? So we are in our time of worship and praise, and we're going to get into that. So all we have to do now is get our roads open for the day. We've already had our pine wash of our floors. This is the type of thing we do when we are in a high priestess mode, in a prophetess mode, and we hear from spirit. So this is what the world needs to see right now, not just us as the pythoness, which we do hold that position as well. So I'm going to get us prepared. I have our water here, and I'm not going to be able to see any comments because this is actually going to be participatory for myself at this time. So what we do is, when I say we, I'm talking about the Mami Watas, and y'all know who we are. I have this prepared here. This is for our feet washing. Okay, so we put it on our altar. I know that for many, many years, we had a public place of worship and praise. And we still do. Many places have closed down, but the divine forces of nature and the helpers of nature has shifted this world. And the cosmic shift has allowed us to move back into the positioning that we've had as the Mami Wata essence of this world. The Mami Wata is a warrior in the spirit realm and the flesh, but we're talking more about spirit right now. We're coming and stepping back from the work that we've done on the outside. The physical body has done a lot of work on the outside for this world, but now we've actually taken a proclamation. Now, this is a proclamation. Maybe we can even say a treaty as a whole. All of the Mami Wata Sibyls of North America, the black doves, have said we are stepping back from this land right now, from those who are considering us to be not worthy enough to even head the ship of this world, which is really a positioning in the tournament that we had to help with guidance, okay, from the masculine, to take it from the masculine to the feminine. Well, they came in and kind of usurped that, and it's okay because there's another divine plan at play here. And I do say play because I feel that this is a large tournament. Just a station identification. This is HP Maven. You are on BibleMagick8 platform, BibleMagick8, which is BM8. We are in the High Dais of Warship and Praise. This is a divine awakening for the mother, the divine Mami Wata. We're working with Wata right now with opening our roads so that we can, this is a sacred ritual, a very ancient ritual, which they even talk about in the divine ancient text where they talk about feet washing. So feet washing, these particular ceremonies and rituals have went underground and been cloaked from the populace because at one time that you could really no longer be alive if those who were around you that did not want that particular essence to be in the world because they had some stuff they wanted to do. Let's just say it wasn't bringing life. So since we bring life, the givers of life. They wanted to take those that were the givers of life away for a while. But what they did was, all they did was put us in the position of going and then coming back even stronger. So this is a time to celebrate. It's not a time to be upset. I know there's a lot of things that seem to be falling away, but that is divine nature. And we are actually going to allow the divine forces and helpers of nature to do what it does. And we're going to step back and allow that to happen and just watch, and then be able to watch and also pay, okay? Pay homage to the ancestors, to our current kinfolks, the past kinfolks, and ourselves. We're going to be setting up a table before ourselves so that we're able to celebrate. And I mean, celebrate. I'm still working with this water because I want to. I have a white towel in here. This is for the feet washing. We're opening up the pathways, the roadways. As I said, the root. But yeah, so I'll keep working with the water. But essentially, we are actually in a position now of allowing ourselves to go back to our ancient ways, the ancient of days. And as it talks about in the ancient text, the feet washing is actually a rite tool, a ritual in which we open the roads. It talks about it in divine text. And as I mentioned many times, and I'm going to be able to put ourselves into a position of allowing that text, the ancient text, to now be shared as originally meant to be shared, what it really means. A lot has been taken away from that about the actual magie. We're actually seeing the results within the ancient text that we know as the Bible. And I did call it a Bible, y'all. Sibyl, Sibyl, Bible. Y'all see how that kind of works together? And then we're going to talk more about how this work, and I'm going to call it the leper. And I'm just going to call it leper because the leper spirit is talked about within the ancient text that was disseminated in 1611. Keep that number in your mind, 1611. That was a time when we had this leper, and we'll say leper only because this is a code word, because of the energy. I was able to actually have the first day, yesterday, of Black History Month, where we are actually doing history, present, and future. We're changing this over. It's a changing of the guard. But I was able to knock that spirit out in the spirit realm. And it wasn't just me. When I say I initiated it. And I saw the ancestor mothers coming in. They were wearing all white. And they had their hair wrapped on all white. And they had on white clothes. And they were marching. And I was like, oh, wow. The mothers are coming in. And then after that, I saw this leper foot. It was turned blue. Just one foot. It looked like the left foot. And it was turned blue. And then the next thing you know, I saw a little bitty baby being born, a beautiful baby, and she was dressed in white. She had on a little dress that was white, and it's similar to what they wore for christening, but now I realize they call it christening, but we used to have our babies even wearing white when they were brought into the world. And that was the actual office of a prophetess and a high priestess, was basically to oversee the birthing of the babies into the world. And so we can guide their souls safely into the world. So that was actually a position that we had, and it was taken away. And, you know, again, we had to go away for a time. We had to go and be cloaked for a time. But now it's time to come back and celebrate. Divine forces of nature and helpers of nature are in place for us. And it's a great celebration time. But as we know within the cosmic direction that we've been going, it looks somewhat daunting at times. But we talk about in the ancient scriptures, what they call scriptures, but I like to say ancient texts. I want to explain that. When we say scriptures, that was all a big play. And that's something that we can get into another time. This is going to stay on topic with the ritual that we're in the middle of, the right tool. But I want to let you know that the ancient text, when it talks about the mother and the baby and the water, we're talking about a birthing. When we talk about feet washing, a lot of the water symbolism. When it talks about baptism, we can get into that. That's a rebirthing of the mother, bringing forth the child. It's a representation of that. So all of these things have been hidden for quite some time, but now we're going to bring out what the real meaning of this ancient text is. Okay, so when we have this representation, and you have to see it in your mind, Sibyls, you have to see it. And Sibyl is an office, by the way. It's a title. A Sibyl is a woman who is the seers of the land. Okay, they're the ones, and they have many more gifts, what they call clairs. Being clairvoyant is one of them. Okay, because if your eye is single, then your whole body is full of light. So these ancient words, we're bringing them back and we're giving the true meaning of them. So when it says if your eye is single, single, of course, we know that means one, then you would be able to have your whole body be full of light. It's referring to the third eye, as we know it, right above both of your eyes, right in the middle of your forehead. So when that scripture, as they call it, it's not an act or a play anymore. When that scripture tells us that, it does not give the exact explanation of what that means. It just throws it out in parables. And it even talks about parables and mysteries. So it was meant to be cloaked in secrecy within that particular talisman, which the book we're referring to from 1611. Once again, keep that in your mind, 1611. We're going to have more information available about that on the BM8 platform. But it says, if thine eye be single, then your whole body shall be full of light. Okay, so that's talking about the third eye. And if it's single, one eye right in the middle of your forehead, that is able to give you the body to be full of light, because this is our actual temple. And that's why the divine forces of nature and the helpers of nature had us to come back into our homes, so that it can now once again become our temples as well as our houses of the spirit. So it's a representation of our physical house, and we represent a physical body, and then the spirit thereof. So you can have the spirit of life within your actual physical home, and then the spirit of life within your physical body. So when it talks about kicking the money exchangers out of the temple, when we say house, temple, they're synonym. They work together. It's a just wording, but kicking the money exchangers out of the temple. I'm talking over this water, and I keep using the hands to wring out the white towel right underneath the flame. Okay, but kicking the money exchangers out of the temple, what that is about is those who want to use your temple, your body, your flesh coat, as I mentioned before many times. They want to use your flesh coat for their own financial gain. That has been what a lot of us consider to be the Sibyls. That's what we've represented to this land, to North America. And when I had the ritual yesterday, and I opened the roads for us so that we would have a cleared space, and that particular entity, and I'm going to call it an entity, the entity of the leper, the leper. And those who are the Sibyls know the Bible. You've come to know what we know as the Bible. They call it the Sibyl. It was on purpose that wording is kind of, I talked about the tricks of words yesterday. But yeah, so those who know the words, the ancient text, they know that it talks about the money exchanges within the temple, and how the money exchanges had to be kicked out of the temple. So that's where we're at today. We're opening the roads, and we're kicking all money exchanges out of our temple today. Okay? And the thing is, and it talks about doing it by force, but some of these entities don't want to go nowhere. So as I had the ritual yesterday, I saw that particular leper energy gone. It was a leper foot. It was sheet white with blue underneath it. That meant it was no longer there. Okay. So that's the kicking the money exchanges out of the temple. Okay, so as we move forward within our days here, DAIS, as I mentioned, days is about the ladder that it talks about in the ancient text, the ladder from heaven to the earth. and from earth to heaven, where spirit goes back and forth. This is a place of high days, a space of high days where we get into our worship and praise before our day begins. We open the road with our ritual. We have our feet washing. This is a very ancient ritual using the divine forces and helpers of nature, which would be, of course, our the water, the earth, wind, and fire, and spirit, the divine five. So I had to actually start this ritual at 555, this rising. So this is a time to come to know once again our higher selves. That's why we talk about the high days, because we are going to be going from the earth, the physical body. Now this is in spirit realm now, seeing in the spirit. A Sibyl is about seer. Okay, so that's a sacred secret to release right now. Sibyl, I don't care how it's spelled. We spell it Sibyl because that's what the world knows us as, and that's what our great teacher has given us to use right now, the godmother, Mama Zogbe, God bless her soul, as we're talking about history, present, and future of the folks, the kinfolks. So we call it Sibyl, Sibyl. We say Sibyls, but the seers, okay, those are the seers. And as we are working in the position of being seers here, we're going to reach up into a high place and collect ourselves, our soul. Now, many of us have to bring that soul back in to our physical bodies, because the way that this system has been set up, it's a reaping of souls and also of bodies. So when they came to get our ancestors, and when they came into this land and took our ancestors from their safe place, from their home, or from their village, or from their tribe, from the nation that they had created here, that was a taking away from the high place for our ancestors and putting them in a low place, in an earthly state. So now we get to recollect our thoughts and then move back into our high place. And that's what the high days is about. Getting up on the high time of the day before the sun comes out and reclaiming our souls. So many of us have to beacon the beacon here as a light. There's a beacon here. This light allows that soul to come back to you. And that's what this is about. This is what this ritual is about at this time. And I know I'm not the only one. This is actually going across the whole continent, North America continent, especially those of us who are children of the ancestors who were in the South, the descendants of those who were in the South. And that's considered to be the Bible Belt. So if you want to know what the South is considered in the United States, what's called of America, then you want to look into the Bible Belt. These are the descendants of the Bible Belt who are now finding their beaconing their souls back. Okay, and you can do that in different ways. Another way to do that is the drawing of a baby. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now. It's not the best practice to use another being's veves. And all a veve is drawings with the original fingers of your hands. Those who have those, you are able to use those hands to draw a symbol. It's not good to use other symbols for your own personal soul work. Your soul guides will give you your symbol, whatever that might be. You draw it yourself, okay? You draw the symbol yourself, and that becomes a beacon. We call it veve within the practice and path, ancient path of the North American Southern voodoo, okay? The Louisiana voodoo. And we use the symbols in order to be the beacon of our soul. And I have a symbol that my soul guides gave me as a child, which I use. And you can actually change it. This is not, let me just say this and stress this. This is not anything that has to do with anyone else but yourself. we have to customize our own spirit work because we have our own personal soul guides, okay? Those soul guides were there when you were born. And you had that fontanel, they call it, in the top of your head, that portal, okay, where it had to close up when you were a little bitty baby. The portal in the top of your head is where your soul was posited into your body. Okay, so those soul guides give you, as a little bitty child, as you grow, they give you your symbols, your names, and you have meetings of chance meetings of other mammals, animals. You see how that sounds? Mammal, animal, vegetable, mineral. They give you your herbs. They give you your roots. That would go into our North American Southern hoodoo. When we talk about roots of the land, that would be our herbs and spices and flowers. You have your own personal rituals, right tools to use within your magic and your sheshe. Okay, so as we move forward, you will get to know, reacquaint yourself as we beacon our souls back to us. If our soul is out there just hovering around, we're going to beacon the soul back. And the thing about it, sometimes it takes a little work for the soul to feel as comfortable as it should once it's back in the body, as we are repositioning ourselves. Some people, it might be right away that they just kind of like soul comes back and you just get going. But some people might have a little bit more of a challenge with it, just getting used to it, being able to now change the habits. Because again, the physical body is separate from the spirit body and they war constantly. Okay, that's why we have to come into the high days of worship and praise. It's to keep the self together. Okay, and as we continue on our paths, our spiritual paths, then we're going to have this tussle back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So as we guide our own personal souls, our natural souls, back into our physical body, what like to call the flesh coat, which represents the earth element. The flesh is made of, they say, clay. And if you look at the different minerals you need, there a lot of it's niacin. You have all kinds of minerals that you need within your body, magnesium as well. You need a certain amount of sodium, not too much of that for some of us who have certain bloodlines and DNA strands. But either way, this is a personal walk. And when people say it's only one way and one man saves the day, this is actually a mindset that we're shifting from as the cosmic shift has occurred. We're shifting from that and we're going back to an individual walk. And then that way we can be more effective because each of us have a soul print that was in our bodies, placed in our bodies, came down through that little portal in the top of your head that was open when you were a baby. It came into you. That's why we all have different fingerprints and handprints, toe prints and feet print. You know, this is something that, that's why we actually have our ritual with the feet washing. And as I continue to anoint this water with this white towel, it's important as you decree, as you worship and you praise as well, that you bring that into your elemental. We're using the divine forces of nature and the divine helpers of nature. We're reacquainting ourselves with those rituals that has been vilified. And it's actually something that is going to completely change, and which it has changed. Many people are back to their original ways of the ancestors. And the elders are here to guide everyone with that. The elders who remember, the elders like myself who are in the position of being the divine mother. And the high priestess is about everybody who is on this path. It's not just one high priestess, y'all. It is not just one prophetess. Each of us, as I mentioned, is on an individual soul journey. So we're going to continue to talk about the soul because we had our souls reaped. As I was starting to explain earlier, we had our mommies who were in charge of the waters of life, meaning bringing the babies out of the waters of life, and they would guide that soul safely into this physical realm. Well, when the mommy waters were taken off of their duties, forcefully in many cases, Then others were able to get the access to the souls as they come into the world. And then at that point, the souls were then reaped and used for malevolent and untoward reasons. But at this point, that's over. That's over. You're going to see things happening like never before. You're going to be in a position where you're going to be in awe. It's like the divine mother, father of the cosmos is going to use the foolish to confound the wise. We have more people now, babies out there talking about their divine knowing, the gnosis. And they looking at them like, how dare you believe that you know more than us who's been in the institution? The institution which they were, the money people have, the ones that they keep the money to themselves, so that some people can't afford it. So in essence, I guess you would never know nothing if you never got into that institution, because they won't give you the money to get in the institution. So how would you know anything? So according to them, it's like you don't have a divine creator, a divine mother, father of the cosmos connected to you and guiding your personal soul. So we have our babies out there. That was some warfare, y'all, by the way. We have our babies out there who I'm not going to say any names. I'm going to use initials. We have our babies out there. And I say babies because as you come as a child to the spirit, you have to come to another place of you're shifting from a consciousness that is an adult consciousness and go into a mindset of a child, a humble, loving, as well as a strong-willed child, to be able to get the spiritual connection that you need in order to get your divine, what we call downloads, divine inspiration, divine knowing. So I'm going to use initials to talk about this particular wonderful brother representing the patriarchy. That's why I can never talk against the patriarchy. But BC, I'm gonna have to bring this up today because y'all, this is about worship and praise. Because I'm gonna do a worship on it and then I'm gonna do a praise. Okay, we're gonna have the harmony here. But BC got into this particular discussion. I'm bringing this to the table today. He got into a discussion with this WH, and they called it a debate. And I'm here to tell y'all right now, that was not a debate. What that was, I'm gonna tell y'all what that really was as the Mami. That was a argument. And an argument don't always have to be people with veins sticking out in their neck. Although WH had a lot of veins sticking out in his neck, almost it looked like, because he came there for the warfare. Let me fix my camera. Hold on. I'm gonna finish this story in a second, y'all. Let me see, make sure there we go. All right, so WH came and he came there to, I want to say, I'm not going to use any harsh definitions, but we're just going to say that was not a debate. I think that they would have to, when we're talking about the motion pictures, I think they would have to look at the great debaters, if you look that up, if they allow you to see it on some of these platforms. Anything that has any worth, sometimes you can't see it on these platforms. But the great debaters is what they need to look at to know what a debate is in the first place. But I digress. BC was giving him some gnosis because BC did not need to go to y'all institutions, which he's not allowed in anyway. So we get what the game is in the tournament, is that only our institutions of higher learning is acceptable in our world. And if you didn't go to our institutions of higher learning, then you don't know nothing. Okay. So that's really what the whole premise is with that. It's been going on for a long time. However, BC was holding his own, but he caught him at a time that he was not doing very well. He had just had a very harsh experience with a health condition, and his Mami Wata by his side, his Isis, his Isis, and him as Osiris represented on this earth plane. She helped to bring him and nurse him back to health, but as soon as he was in his weakest point, at his weakest point, then this WH and another conspirator, it seems, not too clear. I can't really say that for sure, but as the story goes, seemed like a conspirator. Because I had never seen BC on sitting necessarily side by side with anyone from that particular camp, and it looked odd to me. I'm gonna put it that way, that he was sitting there like that, and he looked as if it had something had been kind of brought to him suddenly. His whole body language, BC, his whole body language is if, okay, what's going on? Okay, yeah, you want me to be on this particular conversation, this call or whatever? What's happening? So that's how his body language was. I don't know if anyone else was able to see that, but either way, he BC was using gnosis, what is called gnosis. I'm actually putting a little bit of a mineral, a earth mineral on my altar, y'all. So I can't say what it is. You have to keep your spiritual rituals and all of your tools and elementals to yourself. That's for another day. But yes, BC is sitting there and he has WH just going in on him. So that's what let me know, based on BC's body language, that he was just kind of somewhat ambushed, but it doesn't always have to be harsh. It's just that someone can catch you off guard and bring you into a space or a place for their own purposes. And if it's malevolent purposes, or if it wasn't, I can't even say that, because I feel like it helped to open the eyes of a lot of people to that type of strategy within our tournaments. So I can't really say that it was something that was necessarily malevolent, although it had a malevolent back undertone to it. Because, anytime you want to forcefully place your mindset into another being, that is a form of a wizardry, if you want to put it that way. The dirty wizard, that's a southern thing. We call it dirty when it's something that's that's not for the life of you, right? So I would say that BC came into this particular arena in the tournament, and that he was caught off guard in many ways by just something that was actually forced on him unknowingly. But you know what? Hey, all's fair in love and war, they say. And I tend to believe that at times. But in essence, that just means you need to be on your P's and Q's, because look, we on opposing teams. But now gnosis. Let's get back to gnosis. I know, get it? No. We're talking about GNOSIS and IKNOW, that the world is not going to be ready, and it's okay, for the gnosis that is coming through the cosmos right now. Because we have these planets aligned. So many people that we're going to see that they're going to say, you didn't go to the institution of higher learning that we approve, so you know nothing. So, but hey, we're going to be like, okay, I got this right from the cosmos, honey. I got this from the cosmos. I got this from the creator of all living, right? I got this from the creator of all that was and is to come. That's why BC, again, a very, very divine masculine representation on this earth. I honor and have reverence for his work. His work is just completely amazing. And as a Mami Wata Sibyl, I want to say to his spirit, if he even gets a chance to come into this space and into this place and know what's being said here, I want to say to you, BC, well done. Well done. Even though you felt that you might have been brought into a space that just kind of all caught off guard, you helped many to see what the the work is that goes on in the tournament. And we can use that as a learning tool to be able to know how to move forward within this tournament. Hold on, y'all. Y'all go ahead into a sacred space in your mind with the candle, and if you have your own candles. I'm hoping people are doing rich with me as I'm sharing this, but I need to go and get me a little bit of water. I don't have my hot tonic today, so I'm going to get some water. And I'm going to go back and talk to BC once again because I'm just so excited about what the work he did. Okay, BC, just know that you are appreciated. You're appreciated because the world needs to see certain events. As we are shifting what we do, we need to be able to show the world, as I mentioned, even with what I'm doing, we need to show the world who we are. The world needs to see who we are, and they need to have representation through those who are considered to be mighty in our community. Okay, so our community, as we continue our walks and we are in a different position as a people, our community is going to be able to, like never before, come from the, as they say, the ashes. I know that's something that's ancient. We talk that particular phoenix representation. But when we say phoenix, that's one type of air animal. But there's different types of energy that rises from ashes. And what we're really talking about is the spirit that gets back into that dove that descended, and a dove can also ascend. And that's why the black doves, the Mami Watas as the black doves, are important because they give us a grounding. Okay, they give us a grounding, and they allow us to see what's here on earth, and then ascending up to the heaven as well from a spiritual point and perspective. So I just say well done to BC once again. Ashe, and we're going to send you on your way in spirit. Again, hopefully if you see this, I want you to know we appreciate you, that representation. Next thing we want to get into here is talking about how to move forward within our walk. Okay, so the biggest part about this, as a Mami Wata, Sibyl, the black doves of this world, is that we recognize who we are and not let anyone knock us off our square. No one can knock us off our square. All we have to do is stay confident and know that this is a big old tournament. It's a big tournament, and people will try to sway you from your mindset, but you have to have that bulldog tenacity, I like to say. Put on your blinders and act as if nobody said a thing. I got this type of strategy straight from the mothers, y'all. I'm talking about the mothers who went through the civil rights movement, and they also went through the Jim Crow era in the South. And these were oppositional forces on both the physical side and the spiritual side. But now what's happening is that we are able to go back into a strong stance against these forces, and not really about being forceful per se from a physical perspective, because we done all that. Now, as we took a step back and we talk about a rest place, it's so that we can allow our spirits to now ascend to the place of seeing from our high place, to a position of seeing from our high place. And we'll be able to look down and see the strategy that we need in this tournament within society. And the tournament to me is about, and I mentioned it as a tournament, I just like to see it as that in my mind's eye, because it allows us to see it for what it really is and have us ready. Because if you're just walking around thinking, oh, it's just life and I'm just going to do my thing, and people are out there strategizing on you every day and on a second basis, and we don't even know it's a tournament going on. Now we do know. Okay? And now we know that no matter how you plead and beg and say, whatever, you can go and do a march, you can go and do whatever, you can go down to the building down there with the dome, that replaced our wisdom, our own dome, our head, our mind. You can go down there if you want to. The tree of life within the head is our own dome and wisdom. And then we have domes in every particular what they call states, which is all different, just one land, but they have different states and there's a dome. You can go down there all you want to, but it's not going to change because that competition is actually a spiritual competition. And these particular entities, they are going to stay on that side. They're not coming over. They're not going to help us. They see us as the competition in the tournament, and they're just not going to change. So if we can get that in our minds, then we'll be able to take care of our business. And you know how we are about our business. We do our business. And nobody can say that like me. And that's my business, okay? I'm minding my own business and leaving yours alone, as the godmothers used to say. I'm minding my business and leaving your business alone. So, hey, I tell you, this has helped me. I have been here in this physical body for almost 6 decades, y'all. Yes, 6 decades. And one thing I know, if a person is on their own personal path, no matter how you try to change it, you're not going to change it. I'm telling you, I told you the other day, they're as stiff-necked as we are. They're as strong-willed as we are. The people that you want to bend into the position of giving you what you need, and we just going to have to make our own. And that's just it, right? It works better for us if we make our own way. So don't beg anymore. You can do what you want to do. But this rest time, to me, is about getting strategy together and making sure that you go into your high place. You know what you need to do. You know what you need to do for you. And it doesn't have to, actually, from a cosmic perspective, it doesn't have to encroach on anybody else's will or what they do. It doesn't really have to do that, because you can create your own way. And whatever that thing is, whether it brings in finances or just gives you peace of mind, that is something that is the creator of the cosmos puts into your body and into your mind, your spirit, your soul, and heart. And you do that in this world. You do that in this world, and then your gift will make room for you. That your gift will make room for you. And I believe that that's the Mami Wata Sibyls. That's their words from the ancient text. That's the ancient text that tells us that your gift will make room for you. So you shouldn't really have to encroach on anybody else or have that other being, that soul and flesh, do anything for you. You should be able to take care of your own business. Okay. Now I know others believe that the magic is only with us, and maybe that's not for me to say. That's more of the mother, father of the cosmos, their work. But I will say this, even though it is something that seems easy for a lot of us that look a certain way, and people want to have that treasure, I feel that I just feel like if everybody did their own thing, they'll have their own way. I just don't really believe that. I know people say, oh, some people don't have a soul. Well, I believe that what that means is that they don't have their own soul. I'm willing to see, and it's still something that the jury's still out on. I want to see other people that try to use our flesh for their own financial gain. I want to see them try their own thing that they were given when they were even in the womb. It seems like certain ones, they are just destined in their own mind to take someone else's flesh and their soul and use it, for their own purposes. But at this point, if it's meant to be, and I'm just saying, this is my divine will that I'm putting out there, that if everybody can use their own gifts to make their way and not try to take someone else by strong force, someone else's body and soul, and use it for their own purposes, then we'll see what kind of world we'd have. What kind of world would we have? I'm not too sure. You know, my flame kind of jumped, kind of went dark a little bit when I said that. I think it's wanting me to bring back to the Sibyls and our work. I think that's what that meant. That's what just dropped in my spirit. You know, it's saying don't use your worship and praise time on someone else. We're just going to the Sibyls. So, okay, Ashe, Ashe. I obey my soul guides. When they give me signs, I obey them. Because I'm telling you, it's not worth being disobedient at all for these soul guides. So let's get into moving forward, how we're going to do moving forward. This is something that is on my consciousness to make sure that we do, and that is to put ourselves back into the position of being that mommy spirit for our own purposes. And I talked a lot about the individual soul, the individual body, and at this point, as I give my humble and ever so seasoned experience as a testimony through these times together, I want to make sure that the experience that I've had as an elder, I share as testimony and not necessarily what you should do, because I know that each of us have our own walk, and although you can get inspiration and information from another Sibyl, it should never take the place of your own work, in my humble opinion, in my experience. It should not take the place of your own work in this season. And that is what I believe. And the reason why I believe it like that is because the world needs to see each individual, you, and you, and I. They need to see the individual us, because we were put here when we came in through that little fontanelle in the top of our heads before it closed up, when our souls were placed in there. This is our belief. This is our belief. And y'all, some people might not believe that way, but the soul being placed into that little hole, that portal into the body, the physical body, there was a stamp on your DNA from your mother's, the mitochondrial DNA, that gave you your purpose and a divine code to help you to be who you are in the world right now. And there was a interruption of that particular method of moving forward. As our soul guides were speaking to us as children, people were saying, "Don't let." Well, who are you talking to? That doesn't look good to talk to yourself. Well, my question is, well, who do you want me to talk to? You want me to talk to you? That's interesting. I think that I should be talking to myself, because I know me. I know me very well. I'm with myself 24/7, 365. So I need to talk to you instead, and I don't know you. And I want to know what you want from me. And do you want something from me, or do you just need attention? You know, that's that whole subject of people kind of like supping off of your energy. That's another day. But I want to say that as we move into this repositioning and our recognition and revival of the Sibyl within, which is the high place, bring your inner priestess back, bring your inner prophetess back to a full 360-degree positioning within your world, your own personal world. And we're going to kick the money exchanges. I'm sorry, I had to kick my leg a little bit. Kick the money exchanges out of the temple. That, how y'all know, how many of y'all know that was a Sibyl who wrote that? These ancient texts coming from the Sibyl, coming from the Sibyls. Okay, we're going to kick the money exchanges out of our temples, because, hey, we're the treasures, the black gold, the black doves were the black gold for this system, okay, through the resources that we provided. Not only did we provide the resources from the land, because we were agrarian people, agrarian workers, we were agrarian mothers. We were able to put our blessed, or I would like to say blissed hands, the hands that brought bliss and joy and life. We were able to put those in the earth and bring things out of the earth that were very financially lucrative for certain folk, okay, or people in this case. So our folk, our kinfolk, of the past and our ancestors. They put their hands on all of these herbs of the world, within the nations upon nations, within the North American continent, and we were the ones who brought it to them. Okay, so this is how they've seen us for a long, long, long time. Okay, well, the same hands and these fingers are what I call the first wands, magical wands, ceremonial wands. Those same hands are able to bring your own financial gain for yourself. And we don't want to talk too much about finances right now, because the thing about that is it's been saturated. And I get it. Everybody needs to make it, right? But in essence, when I talk about gain, it can be financial gain, it can be just gain from a physical perspective, that you bring health in, you bring life in, you bring things into your home that's beautiful, things that you love. I believe in having things that you love in your home. Whatever you love, you got to love it, right? So in essence, that is what we're working on now as the Sibyls. We have to step back from this world as we've known it, from the North American continent, because our mothers did the work for a long, long, long time in this world, on this soil rather, within the continental U.S. In the southern Bible Belt, and then as we went into the factories when they had the great migrations, our families, we brought our husbands, our children into the factories at that point in the industrial revolution of the 1900s. So we have been this backbone, little backbone, the vertebrae of this country. We've given our blood, our sweat, our tears, the semen of our male children, and all of our bone and flesh to the cause. Now we're going to switch it up, kick the money exchanges out of the temple, and then we're going to bring ourselves back to the middle, which is self. And we're going to be able to make some changes to what we experience as life. The biggest part of it that many people must know, and I want to say this very, very sincerely, is that when self is not taken care of, then it's hard to take care of anything else. And I just feel that the reason why so many of the black doves, yes, the Sibyls of Mami Wata, the Sibyls, the black doves, said we're going to step back from this country. We're going to step back for a little bit. Well, how many of you know that that was about us regaining position and revival of our souls, the dry bones from being the ones who were supped from for so long in this country? And yes, supped from. Even a lot of our mamas were wet maids, wet nurses rather, for the others. And we're going to keep this as on the level as possible. We don't want to bring too much into it, although it's a type of warfare to acknowledge things that was done to you that might have been egregious, but in many ways, and it didn't bring you the life that you needed. However, it was a period of time that a lot of our mothers saw it coming. The Sibyls are seers once again, the seers of the world. And they saw it coming. They saw this great falling away. And they actually are prophetesses who put this information right in the ancient text that we read. So they saw it coming, but now we get to be the ones who come out of that, the descendants of the Sibyls, and the ones who carry this legacy forward, the heritage, history, and culture of the Sibyls. We get to come out of that and now celebrate, because we're going to bring health and wealth and life back to the dry bones of this country and the world, starting with this country, because people don't know the healing, and some do. Of course, the Sibyls know the healing that needs to happen to this country, because of the just plain old greed. Let's just call it what it is. Okay, I'm gonna have to go on my water on that. Just plain old greed. That greed don't bring life, honey. You have to have some harmony and balance when you talk about anything to do with bringing in resources. But when you want more than what you should have and not want to spread it around, then that's something that needs to be healed. And if we look at it from that position and not really just look at physical people and colors of people, as we call them, colors, ethnicities, if you want to put it that way. If you don't look at that and look at it as an entity that has taken over a body that had its soul reaped and it became an empty vessel, if you look at it that way, the way I've been looking at it, then you'll be able to see it, Sibyl. You'll be able to see it for what it is. And as we take our step back from this country, I know we did it in a huff, because I was in a huff too, y'all. I got to the place, I was in a huff myself. I'm like, okay, y'all had all these years. You couldn't give us just 4 years in this tournament to be in charge. But I get what's going on. It's about survival. That's one of the laws of nature. And that's, again, if we waiting for people to lay down they life for us, I don't think that's gonna happen. Not with that type of entity. So we got to see these entities for what they really and truly are. These entities are just that. These are, a lot of these are walk-ins. I'm just gonna tell you, like we say within North American Southern Hoodoo and North American Louisiana Voodoo, we call the entourage spirits that take on a body. We say that they are walk-ins and they are mounted and housed within your being, within your flesh coat. So a lot of these people have the mounting and housing of spirits and entities that don't bring life, and they gonna hold on to it. They're not trying to get their own natural soul back. And sometimes I believe that that's just their soul, period. It depends. It's a way to look at it. Either way, if it's not bringing life, that's not what we stand for as Sibyls. In essence, we stand for bringing of life. We're bringers of life within the waters of life, which come into the body as it actually expands your stomach. It expands the womb. You're birthing a baby. The seed is placed by the divine masculine into the divine feminine, and then you're birthing a baby. So you have this water of life that's growing within the body. And I think it's just a miracle where everybody knows the miracle of life. They said that for a long time, and I haven't heard that in a while. But the miracle of life, and I like to also place it as the magic of life. Now, since I'm on that side of the fence now, I'm on both sides. I talk about miracles and magic. I go between the worlds because I will never leave my roots. I believe that we should never leave our roots, which was right within the Black church. And we're going to talk more about the Black church, y'all, too, in this Heritage Month. I like to call it a Heritage Month. They say Black History, but it's more of a Heritage Month to me, because heritage represents the history and as the past, the present, and the future. So that's actually the magic of threes as well within our practices within North American Southern Hoodoo and North American Louisiana Voodoo. We represent the past, present, and future within our spiritual working. So I like to call this a heritage month, because we don't want to be seen as history no more. We're not in the past. You can't give me a month, 1 month, in the shortest month of the year. I call it a month instead of a month. As a Mami Wata, it's just a symbolism. But you can't give me one little month in the year, and it's the shortest one of the year, with a leap year, what they call a leap year every 4 years, and tell me it's history. You history, I'm history? No, I don't think so, honey. This DNA been here for, this is the ancient history, ancient of days that goes back, way back. And that's what we've been here. We've always been here and will always be here. Okay, so it ain't no history. You have to claim those things. That's that warfare, y'all. That's the warfare. WARFARE. Okay, and I won't even say FAIR. The warfare. And that's a let's praise. We are here. We're going to be here. We're going to always be here because we are meant to be here. We were divinely purposed to be right here in this land. Come on, y'all. In this land. The cosmic mama and papa put us here, and we ain't going nowhere. And we need to help those right now who think that it shouldn't be so. Okay, we're just going to show them who we are. I'm going to show you who we are. This is what we do. You seen the motion picture, I know. I know you believe that. It's fun to believe spooky pooky stuff. I'm not going to kid you. I'm just going to be honest. When I was a child, my mom, being the Mami Wata she was, and the spiritess she was, the prophetess, the priestess, she always had us watching scary movies because she was just in that space. It was really fun, actually. So this time of year, what we call the dark season, is the shadow season. There's 6 months of shadow season. It's actually more than 6, but We're going to get into the 13 moons later of the calendar system. However, what we have within the Gregorian calendar system is the 6 months of dark and then the 6 months of light. So if we look at it that way, we are in the position still in the dark, if you want to say it that way, the shadow season. And my mom was really into the shadow season. And then around this time, she would always do the popcorn and make them into popcorn balls, which is a tradition for us. And we would watch spooky pooky movies. So I'm not going to act like I'm not a person who also watches movies, spooky pooky movies as well. However, I must say, the most harsh thing that we must think about a spooky pooky movie is that it can be scary. But what about when you in a scary movie yourself, what can be seen as a scary movie, and you don't even know you in it? That's the most scariest movie of them all. That right there. So we're going to get into that a little bit more. I'm talking about the reaping of souls, and you don't even know that's going on. Okay? So that's what we're going to get into a little bit, because we're going to have to show people who we are. And then we're going to put ourselves in a position. Once they know who we are, we're going to walk in that and have confidence in that. We got to have confidence. That's one thing about this particular stance. When you say you are a Sibyl and you claim that position, you got to have confidence, and no one can knock you off your square. As I go back to the BC and the WH experience, the argument, and that was a faux pas argument, because in my opinion, we must listen to our elders, and the elders always used to say, don't get into a conversation about politics and religion. That's a no-no. I don't know if anyone remembers that. Since I have almost 6 decades in, that's something I remember. So it was more of an argument. It was not a debate. They need to watch The Great Debaters if they want to see what a real debate is. But be that as it may, we're in a position now where we got to stand our ground. And if you want to watch that particular, I want to say, it was just like, I don't want to call it an ambush, but it was just like someone brought him into a situation. I know I'm going back on this because it's stuck in my mind. But BC was brought into a situation that he was not prepared for. He was kind of like, just kind of lured into the lion's lair in that case. We can't first of all, you got to be on your guard. You got to have your road opening ceremonies in the morning so that you can see things. And during this time, you can be given your path. You opening the roads for your path. When you put your feet into the water, or you do your ritual where you're working with your feet, that's where your souls are. They call them a soul for a reason. Reflexology, if you look up reflexology, REFLEX-ology, if you look that up, you will see that the soul has a lot of nerve endings and nerve points in it that allows the body to get its actual guidance from those feet. And you see through that as well, especially in spiritual perspective. So if you allow yourself to have these ceremonies in the morning, you get up, it's more than just washing your face, brushing your teeth, or taking your shower or bath, whatever. Go into the full aspect of it, not just your physical body you taking care of, but also your spiritual body. And you'll get a chance to be able to stand your ground when you have these ambush, won't catch you off guard. But as I mentioned, BC had some health concerns, and he was they knew when to get him. They knew when to get him, because I feel like if he was actually in his full 100% health, that might have went a little differently. But I digress. Just about keeping your stance, knowing what's coming, and positioning yourself so that no one can knock you off your square. You have to be very confident as you walk forward as a Sibyl, as a Black Dove Oracle, and you speak what you know, not what you think you know, and not what you read somewhere completely. If it's in congruency with what you know and what your life path is, that thing is in that position, then you can use it. But if it's not, you gotta look at it and say, is this part of my life path? Is this what my soul guide's been telling me? Well, if it's not, then it's got to go. That's where we're at this point. Okay, so I have prepared my feet washing here. And I'm going to now say that we are ending our High Days of Worship and Praise. Thank you for stopping by, Sibyls. This is for Sibyls. Moving forward, already cleared our way yesterday, but now we move forward in our positions within this world. This world needs us. We're going more into the divine forces and helpers of nature with another ceremony. I just want to posit some connection with us and get us prepared within how rituals go and remembering this. For those who don't, for those who do, I hope we syncing up so that we can get these things done. All right, all the best to you in progress. This, of course, is High Priestess Maven. You're on the BM8 platform, and we are ending this ritual right now. So I'm going to leave this candle here. I like to let that settle the the ritual and allow you to kind of like go out that way. Collect your thoughts after my talking. Collect your own thoughts. It's an individual walk. Get yourself positioned so that you will now walk your walk. Go in there and fortify your home as best you can without all the information. For those who don't have all the information, do the best you can. Let your spirit guides, your soul guides talk to you about what's best for you. Create your baby or your, they call them sigils as well, your beacons for the spirit realm. Bring in your elementals, the divine forces and helpers of nature. That will be your water, earth, wind, and fire and spirit. That's a personal thing. This is something that is not one way. There's actually billions of ways because we each have our own personal house or temple and our own physical body and spirit and soul guides, our own soul. So we're going to bring our souls back. Bring our souls back. Beacon that soul back with your rituals. Beacon that soul back with your rituals. And we praise for it. We've had our worship. We go into our praise. We end this with a praise. We got to get our happy on. Happiness is what brings what we need to us because we are appreciative to the cosmos. It lets the cosmos know when we show the happiness, we show that we are appreciative for all that we've been given, all that we will be given, as well as all that we can give. It's a sowing and a reaping, as they call it within the agrarian society we're from. It's a giving and a receiving from the cosmos, and then all that you need will come into its proper positioning so that you are able to walk out this walk on these feet that you will be washing in ritual and ceremony. It's an ancient ritual. It's an ancient ritual. And if you also want to do a rebirthing, you can use your own. If you have a bathtub, carefully get into your tub and allow yourself to just be in the water. Immersion is up to you. Some people sprinkle while they're in the water. Totally up to you if you want to do full immersion. That's kind of the path I came through from spiritual place. But, it's up to you. But this all represents the Mami. The Mami Wata, Sibyl, oracles, the black doves. You're being released. You're rising up from the ashes. This represents also the Holy Ghost Spirit within many of our paths of spirituality that we follow. Here on North American Soul, this is the path of North American Southern Hoodoo and North American Louisiana Voodoo. This is the path that we have allowed ourselves to be in. And that's my path. This is not the path of everyone. Because if you receive this type of spiritual guidance and direction from another organization, another what's considered to be religion within this country, and you're now going into your own personal lone experience, a sovereign experience, then you might have had a different upbringing within a different religion. But this particular path that I'm referring to and I'm sharing with the world to show them who we are, when I say we, I'm referring to my mothers. And then now you guys will be able to tap into your own mother line and the civil line, which is a way that we are on the connection here to the next level within our daily walks. Okay. The way is by going and connecting with those mothers. I like to, when I want to connect, and I said I was going to end this, but I want to say this. There's so much information to give. I'm talking about, y'all, this is actually centuries of information has been posited to me, and I'm working to share it. Sacred secrets and private practices. But I like to actually oil my hair, or have my son oil my hair. I ended up with sons and not a daughter. God bless my womb continually for and the seeds in my womb. But my son will oil my hair for me, and that's the way I connect with the mothers as well. Through your hair, your nails, your bones, even if you rub your flesh, they're the ones who made you. You're fearfully and wonderfully made. Those mothers actually did their spiritual dance to bring in their masculine, divine masculine, and they were able to connect with divine feminine, divine masculine to bring in you and you and you. And they brought in me. So we have our own connection with that, the divine mothers. And if you're in a Sibyl line as well, wow. Okay, so the Mami Wata Sibyl oracles of black doves. And this is the connection you have now as of today. And I just saw, I'm a seer, so I just saw this mother, and she had wings, like it looked more like wings of like a firefly or a dragon. I'm sorry, a dragonfly. So that is the connection that we have here, and we've had this energy. Oh wow, it's beautiful. It has like this iridescent color to it. Okay, she's here. Came in through this flame. She's here. And I don't know what your connection would be. Yeah, everybody has their own connection with spirit. Everybody sees different things. Mine happens to be a certain way. So once you do your rituals and you pour out based on what you've been given the direction of from your soul guides and spirit team, and the divine mother father of the cosmos, once you connect with that, then you will get those visions too as seers. So yeah, so she came in, y'all, at the end of this ritual. Thank you, Ashe Mami. Ashe Mami. Okay, I'm gonna leave you all. Again, all the best to you in progress. This is High Priestess Maven out.